Sup, playa? How's it going? It's Monday! Yay! We're here for our anchor message for the week following yesterday's energy oracle forecast. I highly recommend going back and watching yesterday's video. It is a prerequisite for today's reading for sure, more than ever. A lot of really good, exciting energy set up this week. So yesterday's video will set up the seed level energy, whereas that's like the weather of the week, energetically speaking. And then today's reading, the anchor message, describes the themes that we will be dealing with within that energetic weather. Okay, so it's like the theme within the influence. All right. So I love our message today. It's really interesting. There's a message for us internally today, as usual, and how we are, dealing with ourselves, and it applies to us. But I also there's so many times that I'm picking up on all of these different storylines and situations, but then I don't bring them up because the video will get too long, or we'll get off topic, or it's just I'm trying not to interrupt people's process, or it could be too sensational. But the thing is that sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe I should just start talking about these things. So today is one of those times. So I feel like there is something going on with our growth, but it's also being reflected in a situation involving two different energies. And so we'll get to that. We'll talk about that after the initial. So stick around. Oh, while we're at it, hello, welcome. Thanks for being here. I'm Liz. This is my channel, or our channel. Subscribe. Like this video, comment, let me know at the end of the video what your main takeaway was. What did you connect with? What stuck with you? Every little action that you take on these videos helps me get out into the algorithm, and helps other people find these messages as well. So I appreciate your support in any way that you show it. Also, check out the description box below. There's links to these cards if you want to get them for yourself. And also there's a link to my PayPal if you want to support this channel. Okay, so here's what's happening. We have, from the Wild Unknown Archetypes, we've got Shapeshifter, we have Pilgrim, we have the Bardo, we have Aletheia. And underneath our oracle cards, we have the Page of Pentacles, and that's underneath Shapeshifter. We have Queen of Pentacles underneath Pilgrim and Aletheia in that central column. And then we have Two of Pentacles underneath the Bardo. So what I'm seeing here, and this goes right along with our the timeline. Oh my gosh! So if life was a show, and we're writing out a treatment for the whole season, we need to start with a timeline, right? So that we have our major plot points. And so it's so funny because we're actually shifting, and we're leaving behind the whole first start of our life, and we're actually jumping onto a new timeline. I love it when the universe uses plays on words like that. I love a pun. So it's so interesting because the Bardo here talks about being in a liminal space, the end of one thing and the beginning of another. And we are in that liminal space right now. We are leaving behind a life and an identity and a way of being and perceiving that we've always known. And so many areas of our life are being uprooted, and our souls have really been pushing themselves to the forefront so that we can look at anything that's really standing in the way of living fully and authentically as our true selves, as the unique expression that the Creator came here to live life through, right? So big changes are happening and big transformation, and so everything feels really like up in the air and uncertain. And so the Two of Pentacles is like we're trying to find our balance again. We're trying to find our center. And we're getting there, and we're bringing like these opposing forces within ourselves into balance. And we have been doing that for a while. And so the Shapeshifter, like already, what I was going to get at is that in the greater timeline of the year, later, like January was just a very much a pause in activity. It was a space, this Bardo, between the end of one thing and the beginning of the next thing. And so that space is like a grace period, right? Where we can close the gap where time and space created chaos. And so we need to just sit in this quiet, in this void for a minute, and allow all of these things to finish processing and set and settle. The Shapeshifter energy, back to that timeline, was that after this pause in January, huge energy shifts are going to start happening in February and March, particularly. I haven't looked ahead yet to April. I was going to film April after this. And so there's going to be a surge in expansion and fortune in February. A lot of energy, a lot of momentum picking up. And by March, timing and preparedness meet, and there is this fleeting moment of inspiration and energy and opportunity and luck and fortune. And so right now, we need to be preparing ourselves in this way of sitting and not pushing anything forward before it's ready, right? We don't want anything that's not ours or anything before it's time, because then it will just lead to like ruin and chaos. So we're waiting right now. This is a very intentional wait. We are actively standing by. Remember I talked about that on set, when you're, not doing anything after the rush and you're like, hurry up and wait. You're in these like quiet times where it can be really easy to get bored and, lose focus and, miss a call, right, on the walkie. But what you have to do is actively stand by, where your eyes are open and your ears are open and you're engaged and you're anticipating what's happening and you're ready to make your move. So we're in this sort of moment right now, and a lot of change is going to come. And so the Shapeshifter is telling me like our lives can change very suddenly in a way that we don't expect. That's going to be a surprise. It's like our Act 1 plot point. And in screenplay writing, the beginning of the movie, the first 10 minutes or so, is like the opening sequence where we are introduced to the character for the first time, and then we are also introduced to some of the key players in the character's life, and we are given a peek into that character's life and circumstances as they are in this moment at the beginning of the story. After about 10 or 15 minutes, once we've been introduced and given the lay of the land and we think that we're comfortable, the first plot point happens in Act 1. And that turns everything around. And it sends the character on the hero's journey into the call to adventure, right? And so by Act 2, the character has to answer that call to adventure for the confrontation. So right now, we are in that 10-minute period where it's like credits are rolling, people are still coming in with the popcorn, you're grabbing something out of the fridge. Things are still in the introduction. So enjoy this moment while you can, because the old life is about to be gone, and we're about to get our Act 1 plot point, the plot twist. The shape-shifting moment where things can take a turn and change like we have never expected before. And I think it's going to be changed for the better, because all of this other outer influences of like Jupiter being the expander, there's so much other energy going on right now, aspects with Mercury and Mars going direct, Venus, and I can't remember what Venus was doing recently, but I think it had something to do with Jupiter and Saturn together. Oh, it was Venus and Saturn conjunct. And so it was about getting clear about what brought love and beauty into your life, and then committing to that, devoting yourself to it, right? More, with more discipline, and more consistency. So as the shapeshifter, we need to be adaptable, and we need to resist the urge to be rigid, right? This is going to be a change for the better, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to push us outside of our comfort zone or outside of the realm of our expectation. There could be aspects to this change that surprise us, right? It may not come in exactly the neat, wrapped up package that we are hoping that our dreams come in, right? There's probably going to be some challenging aspects to that. A rose comes with thorns. So it could be that you're drawing something in that is what you want and it's good for you, but you might have fears and doubts about that because your ego is going to give you fears and doubts about an up level. And the ego is going to focus on the elements that surprised you, that took you off guard, and it's going to make you think that that's not correct or that's wrong. But it's exactly the elements that need to be there to contrast against the aspects within you to create change and evolution, and to add more dimension and more depth, right? When we're cooking, we can't use all the same flavors because then it's just flat, right? We have to use contrasting flavors that bring each other out, and it creates dimension, right? And richness. And so there's going to be big change. We have to be adaptable. We have to be lighthearted about it, and just try to have fun with it, right? And approach it like the student. The Page of Pentacles is the apprentice. The Page of Pentacles is the student. The Page of Pentacles can also hold themselves back by taking too long or over preparing or feeling like they have imposter syndrome. Like they always need one more course or one more, I need to practice one more time before I actually perform, or I need to memorize the script and and not trust myself to improvise. It's like they over prepare and hold themselves back in the name of perfectionism, right? In the name of, well, I want to have integrity and I don't want to be an imposter or whatever. But it's really a defense mechanism to protect themselves because they're afraid that if they make a mistake, then they will be ostracized, rejected, and ultimately die alone, starving outside of their pack, right? So it's a learning experience. This whole situation that is unfolding right now is a learning experience, and there's a lot of value in it. The Pilgrim talks about feeling like the pilgrim is always on a pilgrimage, right? The journey through life for the pilgrim is all about the journey. It's parallel with the journey of the soul. The pilgrim takes their spiritual devotion with them every step through the journey of life. Everything has spiritual value and potential to be a learning experience and a sacred experience for the pilgrim. However, some people can find that the pilgrim, on the surface, looks like just a wanderer, right? With no roots, no anchor. But the pilgrim is just not held down by the conventions of society that force you to go along to get along, right? The pilgrim is willing to step outside of expectation, to stay true to the call of the Holy Spirit within the pilgrim. And that might mean going outside of expectations of society or family or the former self that we once were, right? So there's something very spiritually expansive about this. So be flexible and look for the ways that it's expanding your soul and opening you up to life and getting you in touch with Aletheia, which is that truth with like a capital T, right? When your truth is finally healed from the influence of your ego, and you can start connecting to that super consciousness within that's connected to that, the bridge, the portal of the heart, the inner third eye, all of that, those connective portals to the divine and divine inspiration and guidance. Like, we open up to that truth when we correct all the lies that our ego is feeding us all day, every day. When we get rid of those negative shells and those layers, then the truth is just radiating within us all the time. It's just that the noise has been turned up so loud. So this process, this initiation, it's like an initiation. It's going to be for a period of time. It's helping us, and it's like this pause, it's helping us get in touch with our truth, right? And we're finding more security in that and more abundance, and we're able to be more effective in our life and productive and fruitful and effective, you know, and persuasive. And it's like we're the Queen of Pentacles now. It's like the Queen of Pentacles is fertile, creative, she's nurturing, she's nurtured. She knows how to take care of herself. All of her environment is well managed. She is well managed. Her energy is well managed. Like, the Queen of Pentacles is practical. She's like the Earth Mother. She knows how to get things done, but in a feminine way, and follow her instincts doing it. And so there's something about this process that we're going through that's helping us uncover our truth. And through that, we're finding so much more stability and security and abundance and good fortune and beauty in our lives because of it. And, you know, it's about practicing that certainty, which in that certainty is like with the capital C, certainty in the light. And what that means is that no matter what the circumstances look like, no matter what the game of life is presenting to you, no matter what challenge or little bad guy is in front of you, or inconvenience, or, you know, something that seems unfair or unjustified, no matter what it's giving you, it's like you have the certainty that the Creator is within everything. The Creator is here right now, and the Creator is on it. And the Creator has a plan. And there's a purpose that can be served even in this situation. And yes, we have to deal with the world of cause and effect and other people's free will. So the divine doesn't interfere with our free will unless there are like high stakes that involve destiny at play, right? But when we're asking for the divine to help us and guide us, and we are sure and certain that if we are relaxed and surrendered in trust, then that unlocks the miracle, like, essence of divine to move through any situation and turn it around in our favor. Use it to elevate us. Use it to get us ahead. Use it to give us a boon or a bonus, right? It can use that situation to elevate sparks of light, which means overcome our fear, overcome our uncertainty, overcome insecurities, right? Overcome our selfish or lazy nature or fearful nature, right? To hide or to avoid or to force or control or to take, you know? It's like when we overcome those things, we break that shell of negativity and reveal even more light. We reveal sparks of light. And that's allowing that creator force, that truth to come through, that radiance. And so as we surrender and show that certainty that everything will turn around for our favor the moment that we truly and deeply believe that it will, and we're relaxed about it, then like we let go of our grip on control. And we're showing trust, and we're showing certainty and faith in the universe, and we're showing that we know that we're worthy and valuable of being watched over and protected, and we're not being cursed or tortured, you know? It's just that there are cause and effect, rules at play all the time. And so it's like we have to learn how to participate within this world and be the shapeshifter, but also be able to shape and shift around us as a conscious co-creator in the process, intentionally creating our reality with source. And so approaching our life as a living prayer and a living canvas to be a masterpiece of sacred mystical art. You know, it's our living expression. So that's all very exciting. Now there's the subplot. I feel like there's two forces involved in this story that are coming together. And so each individual is going through their own microcosm of this story playing out. I feel like, okay, so this could be you and you thinking about another career or a dream or a goal. That could be the other opposing force. It could be you in a group or a community of people that could be the other force. But I am going to talk about it as if it were two individuals for the sake of simplicity, and that's the main theme that's coming up for me. So I'm feeling like there's two individuals being brought together for a moment of growth and healing and expansion of consciousness. And I don't know how long this moment is, how long this season stretches out, but for the purpose of just communicating that this is happening without knowing like the duration, we're just going to call it a moment or a purpose, right? So these two individuals have a purpose together to correct and bring into balance the opposing forces within them. And they have equal and opposite and contrasting and complementing doses of the Pilgrim and the Shapeshifter. I think that one of the parties has more of the qualities of the shadowy shapeshifter and even qualities of the shadowy pilgrim, but they present as the pilgrim first glance. The other individual at first glance maybe seems like the shadowy pilgrim, and maybe even parts of the light, or like part shadowy pilgrim, but mostly light pilgrim and light shapeshifter, but they can present as the darker shapeshifter, or maybe potentially shadowy shapeshifter, and maybe a little bit of the shadowy pilgrim. But what I think it's represented in is this card here. So I think that this side of the card here is like the pilgrim, where they're mostly light, but they might have this outer appearance that they're a wanderer, or that they are wily, or some kind of a trickster when they're not. They're actually very sincere or very like genuine, but it's just the way they present. Then the other character has more of this energy of presenting as someone who's very maybe like pilgrim-like or pious, but underneath they're not who they seem, and they are more of the shapeshifter who's still experimenting and wandering around a little bit, combined with that shadowy nature of the pilgrim. And so I'm going to read from the book The Pilgrim and the Shapeshifter, and possibly even the Bardo, so you can have an idea of the shadowy aspects of both of these. But I think that the purpose here, I think what's happening is that the Shapeshifter and the Pilgrim, like we're going to call the one that's the more shadowy character who looks like a pilgrim, we're going to call them the Shapeshifter. And the person that's appearing more shady than they really are, they're going to be the pilgrim. The pilgrim and the shapeshifter are both like mirrors for each other. And so they're both fascinated and triggered and a little bit skeptical and a little bit wary, and they don't know what they're dealing with. Remember I said that there could be something that has aspects that are like unexpected, right? Or like not undesired, but just like a surprise element. And I think there was other messages this week that talked about not dismissing something because it wasn't like perfect, like, or exactly as you imagined, because it's the unexpected parts that are going to provoke the catalyst for the growth and the change. So I think that this is a good situation, or there's value in this situation. It's a learning experience. So however the energy is between the two parties, I think it's definitely worth being observed and learned from. But I think that these two individuals can learn a lot from each other if they try to, like, if they spend time getting to know each other, or like learn from how the other one is, and they will eventually start balancing each other out, or helping each other find their balance in this transformation, right? Because one might be changing more towards to be like the other, and the other might need a little bit of help being, you know what I mean? So they can help each other, and they're there to like heal and challenge each other in this. But yeah, it's like the Two of Pentacles. It's like they balance each other out and learn and do this correction through this process. So I'm going to read the Shapeshifter. The Shapeshifter. The trickster, the elusive, the formless. The Shapeshifter has a love of theater, games, and trickery. Its energy appears as one thing, only to reveal a more complex story below the surface. The Shapeshifter is within all of us to some degree. It is the side of ourselves that is slippery, non-committal, and experimental, and longs to dismiss the rules. We see its energy, or we need its energy to adapt to the ever-changing landscape of our existence. When the Shapeshifter card appears, it's important to imagine you are looking at life through a kaleidoscope rather than a single focused lens. At any moment, the scene may shift, revealing a more enchanting vision than you imagined. Be wary, though, as the allure of the kaleidoscope can leave you exhausted and yearning for solid ground. Dancing long-term with the Shapeshifter requires a central pillar of integrity that links us back to our center. When light, vibrant, adaptive, humorous. When dark, charlatan, people-pleasing, trickery. Now this particularly stood out to me. Two things. Dancing long-term with a Shapeshifter requires a central pillar of integrity that links us back to our center. That's that truth right here, that Aletheia. That's that security, that stability in the Queen, right? The Queen knows who she is, and she knows how she believes, right? So these two individuals, they need to be able to be clear about their boundaries and who they are, because in a way they're going to help like evolve each other, but they don't want to let one dominate the other or lose themselves completely, if that makes sense. We're fine-tuning, we're not wearing down, you know. And then the other thing was, when dark, the Shapeshifter is a charlatan, which that makes sense, you know, it's like totally shady, you know, dodgy, not being who you say you are. But then the people-pleasing and the trickery. People-pleasing is a very dangerous quality to have, and I think people underestimate how dangerous it can be. Because when you're a people-pleaser, you don't have strong enough boundaries around your core self, and so you'll put yourself like all of your needs and your identity last for others, right? And so that seems very noble and generous and sharing, but at the same time, if you can't stand up for yourself or what you believe in, or just state your own opinion, then you're a liability to other people who are close to you, right? Because you'll sell out what you believe in to please someone else. You won't be able to say no to people, so you will overextend yourself and wear yourself out and be bitter and always complaining about how, oh, you have to do this thing, I have to do this thing. You will deny your true self, who you really are, and deny yourself your true sexuality, or your true beliefs, or your true dreams, or how you really want to look, or whatever, just because you're afraid of being disapproved of, or, God forbid, disobeying your parents. And at a certain point, it is your requirement to disobey your parents and stand strong in yourself. So people pleasing is very dangerous, and it really keeps people alone, because a partner that's healthy and healthily attached and has their own sense of interdependence in their life is not going to respect or commit or devote to someone who is going to be so influenceable that their life that they're building with this person is like in a constant state of like threat, or like on the precipice of like whatever. It's precarious, right? Because you don't know if someone's going to come in and influence your partner in a way that's then going to have an impact on the rest of your life. Also, if you have fought for your own independence and stood up for yourself, then you're not going to want to be involved in someone who is going to sell you out or throw you under the bus, or let someone influence them and then them try to start influencing who you are either, right? So I think that the people pleasing is one of the most dangerous pitfalls that we can stay in. And as a Libra rising and having a Cancer moon, I am the ultimate vulnerability of being overly empathic, caring about other people more than me, putting others' needs first. And so it's been a challenge in my life to stand my ground and not feel bad about it, right? Not feel selfish, because I've been raised to be so enmeshed in feeling so emotionally responsible for everybody else and never myself. I'm always, putting myself, well, not anymore, but it's been a while since I've been that way, but it's been a lifelong process. And so it's never too late to start, and you can never start too soon. The ultimate shapeshifter works undercover in service of the greater good. The diminished shapeshifter becomes a people pleaser. Okay, and then the Pilgrim. The wanderer, the traveler, the apprentice. For the Pilgrim, an outward journey is always an inward journey. This archetypal wanderer seeks wisdom, experience, and meaning in the farthest reaches of the globe and the deepest regions of the spirit. Others will wonder when the Pilgrim will settle down and claim a more conventional life. But the Pilgrim knows that the heart belongs in motion. Where there is motion, there is freedom, expansion, and growth. Responsibilities, social conventions, and logistics lull us to sleep. And soon the Pilgrim becomes veiled in the slumber of the day-to-day. Yet when this archetype awakens, it rallies our sense of adventure and leads us out the door toward a new reality. With the Pilgrim at your side, you will never lack courage, nor do you need every amenity. Travel light. Soon your spirit needs it. When light, learns, grows, adapts, studies. When dark, aloof, non-committal, flaky. Go deeper with The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. There was something about oh yes, so it doesn't mean that you have to like leave your job, sell your house, divorce your spouse, and abandon your children and get an RV and ride around the country. You can find freedom within the confines of your life, right? I think that you can find a lot of freedom within discipline and structure. And so you can have all those conventional securities and still find freedom within them if you allow yourself to be who you really are and you give yourself freedom, right? To be playful in life and to take risks and to do exciting things and to go against the grain and to, you know, upset people if you need to, you know, be untamed. Don't be cultivated. I don't know if you've read the book Untamed by, not Gwyneth Paltrow, Glennon Doyle Melton, or Glennon Doyle now. But she wrote about the journey of uncultivating herself to be untamed, to be wild. And it's not like the kind of wild where you're like girls gone wild drinking like in this like Dionysian like ecstasy. It's wild as in not caring about how you look to everyone all the time, not living your life according to everyone else's rules, because like they're not gonna have to face the music at the end of it all, right? Being who you really are, following your heart's desires without trepidation, but with courage. All right, let's read Bordeaux, because I think I remembered seeing something that was worthwhile mentioning in that. Oh, actually, there were some side notes I wanted to read in the Pilgrim, if I can find it. Le Pilgrim. Even in the stillness of meditation, the Pilgrim feels the movement of the heart toward what it loves. We all have a deep longing to answer the call, to get unstuck. What are the obstacles between you and the door? I think it's really right now the obstacle is only our perception and our ego. I think we're in an ego battle with ourselves, and I think that it's being projected outward into a situation. And it's maybe exactly the situation where, you know, the shapeshifter is like, you're too pilgrim, you're too pious, you're too fruity or something, or you're too whatever. And then the Pilgrim is like, you're a charlatan, you're all seeming like this and you're a hypocrite. So like, I don't know, maybe there's something here that like needs to be redeemed, right? The Messiah energy on the inside here takes all of those governing forces of the Godhead, and where they're crisscrossing and everything, and it's all sacrificed and broken open and redeemed and integrated into a unified, harmonious flow. Okay, the Bordeaux. And then we'll be gone. The liminal, the in-between, the transition. It is said that the Bordeaux is a place between this life and the next, a liminal realm through which souls pass, envisioning this inherently mysterious space that creates the potential for us to rise above the concerns of this world and see our relationships through a cosmic and timeless lens. We may receive messages from those who are no longer with us, or see visions of lives not yet lived. In the Bordeaux, there is potential to forgive the unforgivable, to say the unsaid, to see the unseen, to love the unloved, and to let go of all the things that cause us pain. The Bordeaux suspends us in its spaciousness for just long enough to open us to a higher wisdom. Its energy does not belong to Earth as we know it, but rather to the cosmic network of which we are a single thread. Ooh, okay, Nexus was in last night's video. And it's, okay, you won't understand this unless you've seen last night's video, but there was some reference to a bra, and I was like, oh my God, we're gonna pull a card that's like bra. And then we pulled the Nexus card, and I laughed later because I was like, support system. We did pull bra. But anyway, so the support system is coming up. That cosmic support system. Earth as we know it, but rather the cosmic network of that which we are, a single thread, right? It's all interconnected, and Source can send you something immediately, right? There's this whole world is so malleable now. Like the internet, what a malleable medium for source to send you resources and ideas and messages, you know? Just life in general. It's like everywhere around us is an oracle and a resource, right? It's just all we need to do is connect and resonate with that energy, and it'll appear, it'll present. If we're relaxed, if we're surrendered, if we believe that, or if we don't have any hangups that it's not possible, because you don't even have to believe consciously that it is possible. I can't believe that it's not possible. And you're worthy and you're ready, right? You're open. Let's see. Envisioning this inherently mysterious space creates the potential for us to rise above the concerns of this world and see our relationships through a cosmic and timeless lens. We may receive messages from those who are no longer with us or see visions of lives not yet lived. The visions of lives not yet lived. I feel like we're getting slices of that. But I still think that we're not even beginning. Like, I think something is still going to take us by surprise, but we're getting hints about that. Like, we're feeling the excitement, and you're getting senses of like what's coming and what's possible. Let's see. The Bardo, there's potential to forgive the unforgivable, to say the unsaid, and to see the unseen, to love the unloved, to let go of all the things that cause us pain. The Bardo suspends us in its spaciousness for just long enough to open us up to higher wisdom. I think too that the Bardo has to do with making peace with our ghosts, the things that haunt us, the people who haunt us, maybe even making peace with people who have died, right? That we need to have resolutions with, you know, that we feel like we can't, but we can always connect with them in spirit through the astral realm, through prayer, you know, not exactly prayer, but like through imagination, right? Through getting our soul, like connecting in with our soul and getting it to that malleable place and connecting with them, you know, through our consciousness. So I think that we are doing that forgiveness work. I think that we are having like epiphanies and insights, and it's just creating so much space in this void, and the universe loves to fill a void. So be sure, because the light loves to fill a void, but also the opponent likes to fill that void too. So the test right now is to hold that space for what's truly resonating and not to settle for something that is not right just because you're wanting to fill that space, right? We need to keep the central column of our truth, of our balance, strong, right? So that we are strong enough to open ourselves to have, you know, the influence of those in our lives and for us to influence those in our lives, right? So it goes both ways. It has to be a heart opening. All right, I think that I have said everything that I need to say. I hope that y'all have a good rest of your evening, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and film the April 2023 predictions since I'm already here and I've already got everything set up. So I will probably see y'all a little bit